Hi, I'm John Cranton. Welcome to Chip's basketball report for the week. Got all kinds of stuff going on, not just with NBA and college March mayhem going on, but the NFL too. We're going to hit all those things. We're going to talk about Robert Griffin, Peyton, and Manning. We're going to talk about some trivia and NBA road trips. First, Chip Chirimbas joining me from Florida. Chip, I know you hit that Tennessee Volunteers, your underdog game of the year 2 weeks ago, and then this past weekend you had all kinds of stuff. You had that Atlantic 10 Megabucks winner with St. Bonnie, and your conference tournament game of the year winner Saturday. Tell us about those and what you have for this week.
It's our time of the year, John. The big games and the big money are on the line, and I'm considered the big game player, and we really came through. We've hit our 5 straight game of the year releases. Saturday, it was Florida State over Duke, and right here, we told everybody they could have an entire weekend for me, VIP winners included, and I have more of the same for you right now. Basketball winner after basketball winner. Saturday night was Golden State Warriors, big money game release. Like you said, Sunday, St. Bonaventure was a walkover as an outright underdog winner. John, what I'm offering to everybody out there, any day this week, after Monday, of course, we're going to give you Monday off, but after Monday, give me a call at 866-899-9462. That's 866-899-9462. We'll give you 2 days of basketball for $2. 2 days of my VIP winners for only $2, John. It's an offer you can't walk away from. 866-899-9462. Give me a call, and when you call, use the code word CHIP WINS. It's CHIP WINS, and get 2 days for $2. Thanks, John.
Is it the Florida sun that has you that hot, or are you that way all the time?
Well, John, tell you, we've had intermittent rainstorms out here the last 2 weeks, and maybe I'm actually doing more work. No, it's just our time of the year, John. The numbers come in, and I'm already looking at, I see, between the NCAA and the NIT and the CSI tournaments that they have out there, I've got 6 games I would qualify as they could be game of the year releases. 6 within the next 6 days. So I'm looking for some big stuff, big action, and big winners. I'm really, really confident. And everybody could get on board for $2 for 2 days in NBA action at 866-899-9462. Use the code word CHIP WINS.
Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend, a great month. Best time of the year is March. Jim Feist on Saturday lost his tournament high roller game of the year on North Carolina. He split 2 other high roller plays, losing with Kentucky, cashing with Memphis Marshall over the total in a big run in the NBA. Hit Friday's NBA Mismatch Massacre game of the month. That was the Denver Nuggets 12-3 NBA game of the month run. Came back Sunday with an NBA Slam Dunk game of the year, and the Orlando Magic won that and hit his tournament total of the year Sunday. It was either a win or a push with Ohio State, Michigan State over the total. If you want to get 2 plays from Jim for just $2 any day this week, starting Tuesday, 1-866-841-1655. Well, we'll start in the NBA, Chip. Northwest Division, really got 2 teams. One is a powerhouse team. The other one is very good. We got Oklahoma City and Denver. Currently, Oklahoma City is 9 games up. Who do you think is going to win this division and will have a better postseason run?
John, it just looks like, and like the experts have predicting all year long, that Oklahoma City's a walkover in the West. I don't think the Lakers have enough. And the thing about this Oklahoma City squad, John, is how young they are. I mean, both Durant and Russell Westbrook are 23 years old. They got 22-year-old James Harden doing a yeoman's job off the bench. I mean, Serge Ibaka is only 22 years old. These guys are young and talented, and they're going to be able to run with anybody throughout the season. You know, maybe everyone's talking about, John, the season's actually shortened by 2 months. Maybe it's a little bit more compacted physically, where they'll have to put in a little more effort over a shorter period of time. But they still have, their bodies are still 2 months of less wear and tear. And this is a young team. I think they're going to run right through the West. They're doing it point spread wise, John. They're doing it straight up. They just always seem to come through to make their free throws in the clutch. And boy, they're one of the best point spread teams in the last 2 years in the NBA, hitting over 67% over that time.
Yeah, they're a remarkable organization. The combination of youth and talent is incredible. Also a great bounce-back team, 10-3 against the spread after an ATS loss. And when they play the Eastern Conference, keep this in mind, 14-4 under the total. I'll be a little bit of a contrarian. I'll back the Denver Nuggets, not to win this division because they're 9 games out right now. There's a lot I like about this Denver team. I think it's kind of an under-the-radar team that's going to have a good second half. And if you're talking about a team that could surprise in the postseason, even beating a team like Oklahoma City, Denver certainly could do it. They have a tremendous amount of youth, and George Karl takes advantage of the depth on this team by running. He's got Andre Miller and Ty Lawson pushing up tempo at all time. This team leads the NBA in scoring with 104 points per game. Tremendous depth with Galarnio and Hilario, and then Aaron Afalo. And here's the thing. They are normally, the last 15 years, fantastic home team because of that thin Denver Mountaineer. Haven't been great at home this season. Started 11-9 straight up. But that's a trend that I think you should probably watch down the second half of the season. I think this team is going to be winning and covering at home. And if you look, when you give this team with their depth rest, 37-17-1 against the spread when they're working on 1 day's rest. They're also 8-0 over the total when they face a team with a winning record. They're also starting a very nice homestand, an incredible 9-game homestand. It's a great team to back, I think, the next couple of weeks, the Denver Nuggets. Okay, we got all kinds of action going on in the NFL, too, this week. Let's talk about that. I don't think I can throw that far.
John,
big story.
I'll give you 7 days to train. I'm going to give you 7 days to work out and train, and I bet in those 7 days you'll be able to throw that ball, 2,900 miles? You'll get it. But just don't lead me too much. I don't run as quick as I used to. If you throw too much of a lead, I may not be able to get up to it.
I'm going to need 7 days, at least. The big stories really in the NFL is the Redskins trade and the Peyton Manning situation. I know you were talking with a radio station in Miami. Peyton Manning has some homes down there, and yet I wonder if Arizona and Denver, now the front runners, are not Miami. What's the story?
Well, I had mentioned to somebody, they said, well, they thought that the Dolphins might have an advantage because he's lived down here and had a home down here for 5 years. And I say, I think that's probably the reason he won't come to Miami, because he knows what's going on behind the scenes. I mean, this Ross as an owner, he's pulled some incredible moves. He tried to hire a new head coach during the course of the season. And when that fell through, he then gave Sperano a 3-year extension and then fired him 6 months later. So, I told you all year long that I'm really thinking, I don't think the Miami Dolphins can win under this current regime. They seem to get a little better and then take a step back, get a little better. I mean, maybe they'll have a little more offensive firepower now. I don't see Manning coming here. You mentioned Denver. Washington moving up in the draft, John. Washington has moved into the number 2 spot. Is that with all those draft picks they've given up?
Yeah, they're going to get Robert Griffin. That's what it means.
Yeah.
The kid out.
Okay, so absolutely. Well, I think it's a great move for the Rams. They already have a quarterback, and now that they're still going to get a plethora of draft picks, they need so much. We'll have to see maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, how the Rams made out on this. And there's no guarantee that Griffin's going to be great. I mean, I think he's got the talent to do it, John. No question. But sometimes it just doesn't pan out. Now, we saw Liner come out of USC, and we saw Vince Young come out of Texas, and some guys that were like can't-miss prospects, and we've seen what happened with Ryan Leaf and some of the others. So I think it's a great deal for the for the Redskins. I'm right. Originally, I think it's a great deal for the Rams.
Yeah, this is a fascinating week, what happened. They gave up a ton, the Redskins did, to move up, and it's very interesting because in some ways you mortgage the future and some of the other guys that you can get to build around Griffin. On the other hand, I heard an interview with the Giants general manager. They were asking him, you gave up a bundle to land Eli Manning. Was that worth it? And he said, look, when you can get a franchise guy who's very good, above average, and you can build for the next 10 years, you give up whatever you can for it. And then he added, you'd better be right. Because if you miss about like the Redskins do, you're going to get fired and your team's going to be mediocre and the guy's going to move on. So it's a high-stakes move. I agree that the Redskins, the one piece they do need, because they do have a pretty good defense, is quarterback. It's worth a shot. But the thing I wonder about him is he's not a big guy. And you go into the NFL, you're going to get hit by these linebackers. It's the big quarterbacks like Big Ben and even Tom Brady was 6'5", and Peyton Manning. But little guys like Michael Vick, they take a beating. They don't last an entire season. Yeah. So I wonder about Robert Griffin.
Well, he's elusive, and hopefully he won't take any direct hits. But if he does, he's going to feel it. I think he's about 6'2.5". But getting back to trading all those picks for your player. I remember when the Giants traded Phillip Rivers and a number of draft picks to get Eli Manning, and I had commented to a pretty wise man. I said, Pop, I think the Giants gave up too much. And what he simply said to me was, they got their man. this is the guy they wanted. He goes, whatever they gave up, and now 2 championships later, sometimes getting the guy you want is the most important part of the deal.
Now, what did they give up to get Y.A. Tittle? Do you remember that far back?
Well, Y.A. Tittle was pretty much after his San Francisco, and in those days, football is a lot different than now. I mean, there were teams that actually drafted players off of college press releases when they said, gee, this guy looks like a mean player. They had never seen him play. They never knew. He was 6'5", and he couldn't play at all. Today's scouting is a lot different. And Y.A. Tittle, I think, would be much more valuable on the market nowadays than he was then.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. You know, for all these, the great quarterbacks that you build around, like Manning, the Manning brothers, you know, you got Ryan Leaf, Akili Smith, and Joey Harrington. That sinks your team, your hopes, and your general manager, too. So Robert Griffin has got a lot riding on his shoulders. I'll step back and take a bit of a long shot here. I read the San Francisco papers this weekend. They said they're not interested in Manning. They're sitting, they're committed to Alex Smith. Right. Because they had Randy Moss working out last week, and he had a great camp with them, a great tryout. I say they signed Moss. They shocked the world by grabbing Peyton Manning. There's your number 1 seed in New Orleans for the championship next week. We shall see.
John, you're taking a real shot in the dark, and I'll tell you why. Not so much that San Francisco wouldn't like getting Manning, but now Manning's going to go into a system that is run first, defense second, and I don't think he's looking forward to go to the NFC, the weather, San Francisco. Forget about it. He's not going there either, John. Miami's out. The Jets are out.
You're probably right. They run that West Coast system in San Francisco. Not at all a good fit. But I got to believe Harbaugh's drooling for him.
He doesn't, you know, and he needs receivers. He's got to go somewhere to bring. Yeah, he may bring Reggie Wayne with him. It's going to be interesting, and it's exciting because I don't think he's going to drag it on. I think he's going to make a decision by the weekend, and he said he would, and get on with his new team. So it's exciting for NFL fans, I think.
I agree with that. Apparently Denver is $40 million under the cap, so they're kind of sitting pretty and has a good relationship with Elway. The thing is, I looked at Denver last season. Defense was terrible, despite the fact that people say, well, this defense is coming on. They were below average against the run and the pass. They lost 4 of their last 5 games. They lost to the Chiefs, the Bills. The Patriots hung 41 and 45 on them. Peyton Manning's going to have to carry that offense next year if he goes to Denver. Okay, it's trivia time. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, it's trivia time.
I was going to say they're going to have to...
What are they going to have to do in Denver? They're going to have to roll out a red carpet for the man?
I don't know what they're going to have to do. And I want them to go to Houston. No, but Denver would be interesting because you still have the Tebow effect. He's in the wings in case we give Manning a couple of days off.
No, Tebow would be traded to Miami or Jacksonville, so get used to him down there.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, what would you do? You'd have to do something. Okay, we got
I don't know.
Let's go with NBA. Here's trivia for you. What is the best three-point shooting team in the NBA?
Orlando Magic.
No, they're in the top 3. But this is what you would have won. You would have won some herbal tea. You could have won a golf book. Or you could have won a autographed photo of this guy. Who's he calling? Is bail bondsman there? I can't tell.
My God. Well, that was when I was in movies.
It's actually the Miami Heat, the team that you have seen. Best three-point shooting percentage team. Spurs are second and the Orlando Magic are third. In fact, you want to throw the Warriors and the Bulls in there. You got 4 teams of the top 5 three-pointing that are likely to be in the playoffs and powerhouse teams. And just flipping that around for a moment, the worst three-point shooting teams, you got the Bobcats, Jazz, Lakers, and Chip, your New York Knicks. Mike D'Antoni loves to bomb away. Their worst is shooting the 3. Maybe that's their biggest problem. Can you shoot the 3?
I don't know what's going on there. Well, since Lynn's percentage of shooting has dropped so dramatically, I mean, you can't go 6 or 17 on a continuum unless you're making 15 foul shots. But he's got to pick up that aspect of it. Still great with assists. He's cut down on the turnovers, and he's aggressive defensively and rebounding-wise. But he's getting beat up, John, and the Knicks are hurting out there. They don't look like a playoff team to me right now.
Well, there's plenty of upside with that team.
Tonight's Monday night, and look for a big effort against the Bulls tonight.
Okay. And finally, let's close with some NBA road trips to keep an eye on this week. Minnesota Timberwolves, they're in the middle of a stretch playing 11 of 15 on the road, a brutal stretch. Boston, we saw them against the Lakers losing Sunday, 9 of 10 away. Toronto Raptors start a 5-game road trip this week, and the Detroit Pistons are on a 5-game trip. They're also in a stretch playing 9 of 10 on the road. The Cleveland Cavaliers 5 of 7 away. And on the flip side, mentioned the Denver Nuggets already, starting a 9-game homestand this week, and the Hornets, the miserable Hornets, playing 6 of 7 on the road. Chip, tell everybody what you have for the viewers this week.
Well, John, like I said, 3-time national NCAA handicapping champion, all tournament action, 3 different seasons in 3 different hotels. Take advantage of my expertise. We've been on an incredible roll. Had our 5th straight conference game of the year winner on Saturday with Florida State outright over Duke. Saturday before we had Tennessee over Vanderbilt. Sunday we come back with St. Bonaventure. We are on a roll of biblical proportions. Come on, give me a call, 866-899-9462. Get the next 2 days for only $2. Use the code word CHIPWINS, 866-899-9462. 2 days of winners from the big game player. Code word is CHIPWINS at 866-899-9462. You'll be glad you did. We are on an incredible roll. It's our time of the year. I got games you can step out on, games you can play with confidence. 6 guaranteed best bet winners in the next 6 days. 866-899-9462. John, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Sounds good. And Jim Feist has a special 2 games in basketball for $2. 1-866-841-1655. That starts on Tuesday. Use the code words Full Court Frenzy when you call. Chip, enjoy the games and keep looking at that crystal ball of yours. All right, we'll see you, everybody, on Friday for the N-Chips NBA report.
Take care.
Take care, everybody.